Alright, Ji. The chapter we're going to study today is related to the ancient Greeks. Alright. And the chapter starts with Socrates' execution because he was accused of rejecting the local gods and spreading bad ideas among young people. Now, what you're asked to do over here is you're asked to make some inferences. Now, what exactly are inferences? Inferences क्या होते हैं? Inferences are basically the results that we reach onto by looking at different facts of information. Now, inference might be an idea that you develop in your mind while you're given a piece of information. Now, if you just look at this text, you're going to realize that this text presents a story of Socrates being executed. It's the story of his trial. So we're going to look at different facts over here and we're going to see what these facts lead us to. हम क्या करेंगे? We're going to read through these facts और उनको इस्तेमाल करते हुए हम different results पे पहुँचेंगे about the Greek society. Now, the first fact I'm going to see over here is that the jury, the people who were talking about the execution, who were taking a decision about the execution of Socrates, consisted of 500 male citizens. Now, I'm given a fact that there were 500 male citizens in the jury, which leads me to think that women were not part of the judicial system. This also leads me to think that women were not a part of this society, or maybe the women weren't really given any importance in the judicial system. Then we look at the fact that Socrates was accused of rejecting the local gods and spreading bad ideas among young people. This leads me to think that Socrates was basically rejecting the local gods, rejecting the local beliefs people had about their gods, which again leads me to think that this was a crime. Rejecting local gods was a crime. Now, the third fact that we're going to look into over here is that the jury were not allowed to discuss the case and they voted straight away by putting clay discs in pot marked as guilty or not guilty. This means that the 500 people, 500 male citizens, were basically going to vote. Either they were going to vote for Socrates being guilty or not guilty, for which eventually he was voted against and then he was executed. But we need to realize by looking at this fact of voting that the Greeks were basically democratic people because they had a voting system. Other than that, if I just go through this fact, the story, I would get to know that once the accusations were confirmed, the jury voted for his punishment. That was the capital punishment. His life had to be taken. So Socrates drank a cup of poison from which he died. This fact leads me to think that if someone had to be given a capital punishment, if someone's life had to be taken, they had to drink poison themselves from a cup. Now, this is the way we're going to make inferences by using these four pieces of information: 500 male citizens, rejections of local gods, then the voting system, which leads us to think, which infers that the Greeks were a democracy, and then drinking a cup of poison, which tells us that the capital punishment in ancient Greeks was that one had to take his life by his own hands and he had to drink a cup of poison. This is how you're going to give me a statement and then an answer. All right?